everyone. This is Anchal, a second professional year BAMS student at Rajiv Gandhi Government Postgraduate Ayurvedic College, Paprola, Kangra. And today we'll be discussing about our course, that is BAMS, Bachelor in Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery. So let's get started. If you're going to join BMS, I feel that you should probably know all these things, because as a complete stranger, as NEET aspirants, we all have completely thought about getting into MBBS so much, and even on social media you have so much knowledge about MBBS that you don't ever think about your alternative options, and that makes a big fuzz when you don't get into MBBS. And especially for this year, the aspirants are facing a lot of trouble, and I guess that this video might help you to know what if you really should get into BMS, or you should choose some alternative options like BDS, BVSC. Maybe I'm a bit late about uploading this video because like already the counseling has been started, but still the first round is going on. I would rather say that yes, get to know your course first completely, because when I was going to check my options, I was not very aware. About BMS, the course is of 5.5 years, that is 4.5 year of academics and 1 year of internship, just like MBBS. But like the click is, it is divided into 3 professional years, and each professional year is of 18 months. So when you all join your BMS colleges, you will all be given a 15-day introduction course that is called induction course. Some colleges call it by other names, but basically it is a complete introduction of what you will be studying in the next 4.5 years. So when a student enters into BMS, what he or she might really want to know is whether the whole course is in Sanskrit, or is there any Hindi or English things that we study. Yes, there is. Most of the part is in Sanskrit, and you should have a very basic knowledge of Sanskrit, but in your first professional year as it is, you'll have Sanskrit as a subject, so it might help you. But yes, obviously prior knowledge to the language helps you more. But yes, Sanskrit is a major thing in BMS, because whatever you study, whatever the main texts are written, they are in Sanskrit, because as we all know, the very basic thing is ki Ayurveda is taken from our Ved, and it is a Upved of our Ved of Hindu mythology. So you should all be knowing that Sanskrit will be a major part throughout your course, throughout your profession. If you're going to be a physician or anything, yes, Sanskrit is going to be a part of your life forever. Talking about our first professional year, that is of 18 months, we have 5 subjects: Kriya Sharir, Physiology, Rachna Sharir, Anatomy, Padarth Vigyan, Samhita Adhyan, and Sanskrit. So anatomy and physiology, you'll have the modern part as well as the Ayurveda part, so you'll have to study extra obviously. But then yes, in anatomy we have dissection. The most frequent question is, do we have dissection? Yes, we do dissection, and we study dissection, and we do everything. We have a cadaver, our college has a cadaver, and we have groups made, and then the teachers, they teach us, and the PG scholars are very helpful. You always have help if you want. The seniors, the teachers are very helpful. And the physiology, we have a physiology lab, we have physiology practicals to do for modern as well as for Ayurveda. And yes, you'll be studying extra, you'll be studying modern as well as Ayurveda. So yes, get ready for the extra burden, because people, they come in BMS and they think that no, we have to study Ayurveda. No, you have to study modern, and you'll have a thorough knowledge of Ayurveda, because obviously in present practice, present scenario, you should know both things. At least for a patient, for diagnosing a patient, you should know what their normal physiology is, what their normal anatomy is. Obviously Ayurveda won't help you on that part, but in terms of treating them, you should know Ayurveda, because in future, obviously, if a person wants to go to a physician, and if they're preferring to go to a BMS physician, they will want you to treat them through your Ayurveda knowledge, not from the modern knowledge, because obviously they have a lot of MBBS, MDMS people out there to help them through that. Whatever I'll be talking in this video will be quite raw, because I don't really have a script ready, and I am very new also in this course. I have just completed my first professional year, so yes, I won't be making up things. I won't be trying to lure you into the course or anything, because I really don't want anyone to just get into the course blindly. Obviously we also wanted that guidance, and we didn't have it, because the things on social media are very less, if you see. So what to expect from your first professional year is, you'll have a very theoretical knowledge, and yes, that knowledge is very important. And one thing, yes, that we all are very afraid of. What is this new thing, Samhita Adhyayan? Samhitas are the basic texts. Like we have three main Samhitas, that is Charak, Sushrut and Vagbhat. You'll know more about them when you come into the course. These are the main three uh, Samhitas, main three texts, main three books written that whole Ayurveda is based on. There are other books also, and they also come along the way. So be ready to read a lot of Hindi, a lot of Sanskrit, a lot of English, everything. So coming to second professional year, we have 6 subjects in total. Samhita Adhyayan, we have to do it on all 3 years basically. Rog Nidan, that is pathology. Dravya Ras Shastra, that are related to pharmacology in modern aspect. Swasthvrit and Yog, and Agartantra and Vidhi Vaidya, and that is related to forensic medicine and toxicology. So in second professional year, you'll be more into you'll have more subclinical subjects, because you'll be connecting your first year's knowledge to your third year's subjects, which you'll study later on, and these are more connecting subjects, if you say that you'll study more, but then these are more about your knowledge, your backhand knowledge that you should have while you're treating someone. And so yes, these subjects are as important as your first year and a third. All subjects are important. Obviously, you're going to be a physician, someone's life will be in your hands. All subjects are equally important. So yes, you have to study a lot of Ayurveda and modern as well in this year also. So there is, in second year, yes, you'll have an educational tour. It is mentioned in your NCISM thing, but it completely depends upon your college or your institution, that whether they are willing to do it, whether they have the time to do it, and whether it is feasible or not. It completely depends upon your institution. And you will have a forensic tour. For our college, we usually have a forensic tour of about a week or 10 days. That is in Tanda Medical College, and we go there daily and we see that postmortem thing. We are not allowed, yes, we are not allowed to do the postmortems, but yes, we are allowed to make MLCs, which are medical legal cases and medical legal reports. Sorry for the fumble, but yes, these are the things that we are allowed to do more. And so just like every other year, we have 7 subjects here also, and we have to study their modern part as well as their Ayurveda part. So the subjects are, first we have Kaya Chikitsa, that is medicine; Shalya Tantra, that is surgery; Shalakya Tantra, that is ENT, ophthalmology and dental included; and we have Panchkarm, we have Stri Rog and Prasuti Tantra, that is gynae and obstetrics; and we have Bal Rog, that is pediatrics, and research methodology. These are the 7 clinical subjects that we'll be studying in our third professional year. We have a 200-bedded adjoining hospital with the college, and that has all the OPD departments and OPD and IPD. And yes, for the third professional year, we'll be spending our first half of the college hours in the hospital, and the second half we'll have after the lunch we have our theory classes. Internship has 12 months, and 9 months are done in this hospital only, and 3 months I guess we have to do in local PHCs, and people, they prefer their hometown or any other places wherever they can go and practice PHC or any AHC. The stipend for your internship is 10,000 as per now, as per this. Some departments we have 6-hour shifts, and some departments we have 12-hour shifts for internship. And yes, that's it for internship, I guess. You don't have holidays in internship. Holidays are myth in internship. You only have 9 holidays for whole of your 1 year, and they include, I guess, your medical leave as well. So now talking about some of the social taboos, I guess we have all heard about Ayurveda, that yes, you people are nothing but alternative medicine, and Ayurveda doesn't treat people, it is not working for people. And then you are, even on if you search it on Google, Ayurveda is called a pseudoscience. Yes, these are all the things that you will definitely hear, and people will try to pull you down if you choose something else from MBBS, because obviously there is this myth that MBBS is the cream layer, it is the superior most thing. Yes, it has its own pros. Every profession has its own pros and cons, and I would definitely say that even Ayurveda has its cons. It cannot be used during emergency conditions as much as you can obviously use allopathic medicines more. But then there are other things also that are treated by Ayurveda and not by allopathy. Obviously, everything in this world has its own place, and Ayurveda too does have a place of its own, and it is a very significant one. I'm not telling anything scripted or anything, because as a student myself, I haven't really I haven't really got any negativity regarding my course, be it my family, my friends, or anyone around me also, except for the college. Obviously, the college people, they have two sides. Every college has students who have two sides, who like the course and who dislike the course, because no one here is by choice. No one came here by their choices. They were all forced into doing BMS because they didn't get MBBS, including me. I won't lie, my first preference were not BMS. I even joined BDS, but then I didn't want to, so I came for BMS. So why you should be choosing BMS is not an answer that should be given by me. It should be an answer that you should find on your own, because obviously there are alternative options. You have BDS, you have veterinary, you have pharmacy, and like other things. You have forensic medicines, complete courses on forensic medicine, and you have agriculture, horticulture. You have so many choices. And if you want to choose BMS because you think that this has modern medicine and you'll be practicing modern medicine, the government is very unpredictable in some states. As of now, only in some states you are not supposed to practice allopathy. If you're an Ayurvedic doctor, it is not allowed, but in Himachal Pradesh it is still allowed. But you never know when the rules change. So don't come thinking that yes, we'll study BMS and then we'll be practicing allopathy. That is of no use. Even if the law allows you to do so, the people are very, educated or aware that what medicines they want. If you are going to practice it in future, someone is coming to you, they won't think कि हाँ ठीक है, ये हमें एलोपैथी दवाई दे दे और हम जल्दी जल्दी ठीक हो जाए. हाँ, some people they do think like that, but most of the people coming to you, they would want कि अगर हम एक आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर के पास जा रहे हैं, so yes, they would prefer giving us Ayurvedic medicines because they don't want side effects. Obviously everything has a side effect, but the Ayurvedic medicines, they have less side effects. And also a fact, if you're going to do BMS and you don't want to be an Ayurvedic physician, yes, you have options. You can always get out of the field. You can always move out of the field and just do other things. You can go and you can have your own business. You can start your own pharmacy. You can go into private sectors and deal with pharmacovigilance things, and a lot of options. That includes be it government sector or private sector, because in government sector the for sure things that you can go into is you can go for teaching for clinical or non-clinical subjects. You can go into your own practice, and then for any government practice of a physician, and you can go into being a drug inspector. You can be a pharmacist, or there are a lot of things. Even for private sectors, companies like big names like Himalaya, Dabur, Patanjali, they all hire you for various things. I cannot even name one thing. They can hire you as their physicians, house physicians, or they can hire you as this for the pharmacovigilance thing, for the drug inspection things, and a lot of things. There are a lot of things. I'm not as aware as the field is vast, but the field is very vast. I might not be as aware as it is, but yes, you have options. Don't think that if you're into BMS that you have to do BMS, that you'll be a physician. It doesn't work like that. No field works like that. Even in MBBS, not all the people in MBBS are doing surgery. Some people are actually doing other things. They are going for UPSC. People can go for UPSC. They can go for management things. They can go for hospital management. You can have your own practice even if you don't want to do practices under government jobs or other things. There are a lot of things to do actually. Once you enter BMS, enter positively is all I'll say, and don't expect too much in your first. I totally get it that people are very dissatisfied, discontent after having so much marks and so much score. They have put so much efforts and still they're not getting into MBBS. I feel very sad for everyone that has been trying so hard to get into their favorite course and they are not getting into it. But if you're getting into some other course, have the respect for it, have that thing for it, and try to do your best in your field. These are all the things teachers will also tell you when you'll be coming to the college. But me as an aspirant, I think maybe I'll connect more with you people. So I'll just say it, that just do whatever you're doing and put your best efforts in it if you're really doing it. Even if you want to prepare again for NEET, do it. Don't let anything hold you back. Just do whatever you feel like, but whatever you're doing, don't have those double standards that you're doing something and then you're not willing to do it. if you're not willing to do it, just don't do it. Even if you don't have options now, as of now, you'll have options in future, and there are a lot of things that the teachers will tell you more firmly and more accurately than I can. So yes, these are all the things.